Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Phil and this is Vermont's 100 covered bridges. So today we're at the Bartonsville covered bridge, which, as you can see from that sign, is only 12 years old. However, there's a lot more history way beyond those 12 years, as we're going to find out now. So this bridge, as you can see from the sign, is just 12 years old. It was rebuilt in 2012. The original structure was built in 1869. What I'd like you to do is cast your mind back a year before that and imagine that we are here in 1868. So in 1868, the railroad was here, and Lower Bartonsville Road was here. But as you're about to see, there was no bridge. And the reason why there was no bridge is because there was no river. And I'm going to explain why. What I'm going to do is show you two maps, one of 1863 and the other of today, and we're going to find out exactly what went on the 3rd and the 4th of October in 1868. So here's Bartonsville as we know it today. This line here and all the way up and down there is the railway line. Obviously you can see the river. These two X's is the Bartonsville Bridge. So railway line, river, bridge. I'm now going to flip over to what the scene looked like in 1868 before this great storm arrived. Now, as you can see, here's the railway line, and down here is Bartonsville Covered Bridge, and the river is nowhere to be seen. So the river came down here and turned left, going downstream, right around the bend and down here, completely nowhere near to where the bridge is. What I'm interested in is, though, it says here original covered bridge site. It says Main Street. This is now Lower Bartonsville Road. You can see there's a dam here, another little dam here as well. So the river was flowing very fast, obviously more and more water coming down. The dam would have been holding it all back, and eventually the water going round and round here, it just jumped the banks. And literally just went straight down here, heading to where the bridge now stands at the bottom. Here there was the road, Chester Road. It would have took out, there was a hotel, there was a mill here, there's a post office and a telegram office. It took all that out and came straight down here. What I'm interested though is before we go and explore what is around the bridge today, I want to go and have a look at what is along here now. Are there any remains of the bridge? Are there any remains of the mills or the dams? So I'm going to go and have a look, and we'll go and see what we can find. So here I am on the river, on the opposite bank to Bartonsville. You can see the train line next to me, and there in the background is our beloved Bartonsville Bridge. And I'm guessing this sort of curve here of the river coming round would have been that bulb, because then it went straight up there. Now obviously you can see the bank, so the river can't go there anymore. That's purposely been banked up since the flood. But the river came round this huge bulb here and then straight up there. Instead, the water backed up because the dam was obviously keeping it back. It built up, and rather than go round there, it just jumped the bank, literally jumped the bank, and now takes the route that we can see. And it's taken that route ever since 1868. So the spot I'm actually stood on now is the site of where the covered bridge was. I'm not sure through all the trees how much you can tell that there's a clear valley here. Hopefully you can see like the side of the bank there going down and all the way to the rocks here. Actually, probably it's more open here. So this, as I say, you can see the whole dip was the original bed. And I'm going to go over to the other side. So there would have been a dam just down here. And again, I'm not sure if you can see the shape of the trees, but the river goes right round there to the right. So this was the site, this was the route of the former river. So I'm here at this triangular piece of the road, and here we have the small pond that obviously formed the original bed and route of the river, which was then going down that way. On this side there would have been a small dam. In fact, whoa, I think, I'm not sure if I can zoom in with all these trees, but that thing right there definitely looks like a dam that's obviously been overgrown over time. There's still a trickle of water here, which I suppose feeds into the small pond. But oh my goodness, I've just spotted something that I got very excited about. I'm just quite excited, actually very excited. Here we've got what is clearly the remains of the mill, the paper mill, and here's the runoff. There'd have been a runoff come down here, down this side. So this bit was like a sort of an island. The main river came down here. There's a little runoff here that then came out here, and that's on the map. That is on the map I just showed you, and I'll show you again just so you can see exactly where we are. So this is the area I'm in now. Here's the triangle fork in the road. This is the bridge. That's the small dam that I pointed out when I was stood on the bridge here. And here's the runoff. Here's the runoff that fed the water wheel to this paper mill. And this is exactly where I'm stood right now on this piece, looking down at the remains of that mill. Just to flick back to today's map, again, here's the triangle piece of the road. Here's the small pond with the little runoff. You can see the runoff there going in to power the water wheel. There's the outlet for the trickle that's on the other side to come through. And here's a above view of what remains of the paper mill. So I hope that little bit was interesting. I can say I actually did find more evidence of mills and other buildings that were along the now dry bed. I did speak with a neighbour who declined my request if I could film on his land where they were, and understandably he wasn't keen because he doesn't want tourists turning up on his doorstep. It was a truly amazing find. I mean, you saw how excited I was when I saw that little the side of the mill at the runoff at the little pond. I was way beyond excited when I saw what this guy had in his garden, but again, I'm just going to keep that to myself, and he can keep it to himself. So the question is, why was this bridge rebuilt 12 years ago? Now, normally in most cases, bridges that are rebuilt, they're done so because wear and tear, just damage over the years. But this bridge was actually in good condition when it was lost. I'm actually in the middle of the Williams River, and this is a river that is 27 miles long, and it starts way up in the hills above Andover. I'm just going to read this so I just get the right places. Yeah, it rises just the northern part of the town Andover, and it flows through the towns of Ludlow, Chester, and into Rockingham, where it joins with the Connecticut River. Now, I've already said that in 1869, this river caused one bridge to go because of flooding. And the reason that this bridge, this wonderful bridge, is only 12 years old is due to another flood. Now, I can tell you the story of what happened, but I can do better than that. I can actually show you a video that was filmed by a local person called Susan Hammond. She videoed what happened to this bridge one day in late 2011 when Hurricane Irene hit New England, and in particular these parts of Vermont. It damaged a lot of covered bridges, which is what we'll find out on this journey when we go and visit all the other ones. So I'm going to show you this video of that Susan Hammond took. Just before I show you the video that Susan Hammond recorded, I just want you to have another glance at this beautiful stream. Now, I'm stood in it, and as you can see, it's ankle deep. I must say, I'm filming this on the 22nd of October. I'm wearing t-shirts and shorts. It's a beautiful day. We've not had a lot of rain here in Vermont for 3-4 months. Yeah, it's been quite a dry period. But the reason I'm here is I'm stood underneath the bridge, as you can see, and I'm 5'10", so with my arm reach being what, another 2 feet for say, that's 7'10", and I would say there's probably 20 more feet between the top of my hand and the bridge. So if we say 28 feet minimum, so I just want you to bear that in mind while I show you this video that's coming up right now.
For my own personal family, 5 generations have come across that bridge. We swam under the bridge. It was a place that everyone took their family photos, and it meant home. Everyone felt a sense of pride and ownership to the bridge because it rooted us to our community. As you can see, the river here is a little trickle in the summertime. When Irene hit, when I woke up that morning and heard the roar of the river, my first thought was, oh my Lord, the bridge. What is happening to our bridge? So I'm only about a quarter mile up the road, so I walked down.
There's a spot underneath that bridge where it's hollowed out.
Yeah, right over there. That's what we wanted to do. And we kept seeing the river rise higher and higher to the point it got to about, I'd say about a foot below the bottom of the bridge. But we really thought that it would hold. We never expected the result. Oh my God. We were all devastated. It traveled down the river about a half a mile, took one bend, and it was that second bend it couldn't make it, and it landed on a neighbor's field down the way. We just could not believe that storm, the river had risen to such a height to erode the bank and wash our bridge that had been here for 140 years down the river. I mean, none of us could believe it, even though many of us sat here and watched it happen. But within a few minutes, we turned to each other and said, all right, we're going to rebuild. We are not having a concrete bridge in Bartonsville. This village has always had a covered bridge.
In August 2011, flooding caused by Hurricane Irene swept away Bartonsville Bridge, an historic covered bridge that had carried traffic for more than 140 years and was listed on the National Register of Historic Places. A few months later, the people of Rockingham decided to rebuild. The abutments of the old bridge were secured by sand and soil that washed away during the storm. New abutments will be made of concrete encased steel and iron pilings that are driven into the bedrock and will be set farther back from the river. That will make the new bridge at least 12 feet longer than the original. The bridge will use the same truss design as the ones Sanford Granger built in 1870. The design uses long, narrow timbers to form a lattice with no arches or uprights. It produces a light, strong frame that is relatively easy to build. Long windows, just like the old ones, will give drivers views of trains from the north side and oncoming cars from a bend in the road to the south. A sheet metal roof, like the old bridge had, will protect the wooden frames and floorboards. In the 19th century, almost all of the covered bridges were made exclusively of wood and built using hand tools by local residents at a cost that ranged from several $100s to a few thousand. The new Bartonsville Bridge will be also taller and wider than the original, allowing passage of modern emergency vehicles that don't fit through older designs. Construction is set to begin mid-May, and the town manager hopes to be finished in October.
So, a lot of happening and events down at this bridge. But next week, I'm going to be a mile further down and an equally eventful bridge there. And I'm going to give you more information about the river, the Williams River. Not only the river itself, but how it's connected to another covered bridge 50 miles away in Massachusetts. It's an amazing story with a tragic ending, but this river is linked to a covered bridge 50 miles away in Massachusetts. Once again, thanks to the Vermont Covered Bridge Society for invaluable help and support via the website. And that's it for me. I'll see you again next week in another video.